we're going to talk about trig functions. In particular, integrating basic trig functions. Now, we know the integral for two of them, obviously, sine and cosine. Well, what about the other four? Let's take a look. So let's start by looking at the integral of tan x dx. So how are we going to do this? Well, very good. Start by rewriting it as sine x over cos x dx. Now here, do you see any way that we could do this integral? Yeah. It's now just a very simple u sub. U equals cos x, du equals negative sine x dx. So when you do the substitution, you get du over u, and then there's that negative, so I'll just put the negative in front. So the integral of this is just ln u. Okay. So with a negative in front, excuse me, negative ln u. So how can we write that out? A couple different ways. So we could write this as negative ln of cos x. Or we can use the rule of logs to rewrite this. Remember that a constant is in front of a log is the same as the exponent of the thing you're taking the log of. So this is just log of cos x to the negative 1. By using trig, we know that cos x to the negative 1 is just secant x. So you can write this either way. Personally, sometimes I like just writing it as negative log cos x because I like having everything in sine and cosine when I can. Typically, the rule for this is written as the integral of tan x dx is ln secant x. And then also plus c. Integral of secant x. This one will be harder. Okay. Sadly, just rewriting this in terms of sines and cosines gets you nowhere because you just wind up with dx over cos x, and that doesn't do anything. What you have to use is a trick that comes out of absolutely nowhere. You have to multiply by 1, and by 1 I mean secant x plus tan x over secant x plus tan x. Where did that come from? Embrace the mystery. Okay. So now that we have that, we can do some more manipulation and rewrite this. So distribute that and you get secant squared x plus secant tan x all over secant x plus tan x. Now what do we do with this integral? Well, look at the denominator, look at the numerator. It's just a u sub. The derivative of the denominator is the numerator.
It comes from the derivative of secant.
Yeah. Derivative of secant x is secant x tan x, and derivative of tan x is secant squared x. So there you go. And now this is just the integral of du over u. It's just ln u. So it's ln of secant x plus tan x. Okay. Now you've seen the trick. And so we now know how to do the integral of 4 of the 6 trig functions. And what I'll tell you is the following thing. The 2 remaining trig functions, cotan x and cosecant x, you can do in almost the same way because the rules and the relationships are very similar. And I'll leave that to you to figure out exactly how it works. But it's basically very similar to what we just did.